What's going on, you guys? It's Brantzen, and tonight I got invited to go to a home game. We're playing 5-5 at a friend of mine's. The Next Gen boys are in town, so I will be seeing them as well. Hopefully we can book a profit, so join me. I'm gonna head out in a couple hours, so I'll see you there.
A few moments later.
What's up, guys?
What's up, guys? What's going on, guys? Brantzen Poker here for another poker vlog.
Cheers.
With the guy Brantzen who has the Brantzen poker logs.
Let's go! Let's go!
Tell him he's got a lot of class, and it's all low.
Today's vlog is filled with some really fun hands, so grab your popcorn and let's get started. I buy in for $500 and pick up Ace Queen of Spades on the button. The hijack opens to $15 and I put in the 3-bet right away to $45. Well, the small blind cold calls, the hijack calls, were 3 ways to a flop of King Deuce Deuce. The action checks to me. No one should really have a deuce here, and I can rep a lot of strong kings, so I c-bet $50. No need to go big on a paired board, and it gets the job done, as both my opponents fold and I take down the pot. Next, I have Ace-10 off in the low jack. Rosie limps from under the gun +1. The under the gun +3 limps. Limping goes against everything I believe in, so I shalt not. I raise to $30, and both Rosie and limper number 2 call. 3 ways to a flop of 10-7 deuce with 2 clubs. Action checks to me. I have top pair, top kicker. Seems good enough to bet. I bet $35. To be fair, I probably should have bet bigger, but I wanted all pocket pairs to make the call. Rosie does not call. He raises to $100. The under the gun +3 limper folds, and it's back on me. Oh, Rosie. Next gen Rosie. Rosie. Rosie, you don't have to raise me up tonight. Trying to juice me for money. You don't care if it's wrong or if it is right. Rosie. Okay, so here's the thing about Rosie. I've seen him play quite a bit. I have not seen him bluff raise much at all. Pre-flop, he limp called from early position, so he could definitely have sets here. He could also have deuce 7 since we're playing the deuce 7 game. If you win with deuce 7, everyone owes you $10. Top pair, top kicker, I can't fold yet. I make the call, and the turn comes a 6. Rosie continues betting for $175, and now if he was bluffing with a straight draw, he got there. The only thing I'm beating is clubs, and I don't think he's necessarily taking that line very often with clubs. I fold. Hopefully, I can just catch him in a better spot later. Foreshadowing. Better spot later, coming up. Speaking of the 7 deuce game, I pick up 7 deuce off myself. Under the gun +2. There's 1 limper, so I raise to $30, and only the under the gun +1 limper calls. Heads up to a flop of 9-10 jack rainbow. She checks to me, and with this particular opponent, it seems like she'll just fold to any bet if she has nothing, and call any bet if she has something, so small bet it is. I bet $20. She folds, and I proudly turn over the 7 deuce, and everyone owes me $10. Moving on, I pick up Ace Queen off under the gun. I open to $20 and get called by the middle position player, the cutoff, and the small blind. 4 ways to a flop of Queen 7-8 rainbow, and the small blind leads out for $50. I have a strong hand with top pair, top kicker, but I feel like in this spot, I'm often going to be way behind or way ahead of him. There's no flush draws, so I'm going to be way ahead of weaker queens and way behind hands like 2 pairs or sets. He could also have a couple straight draws, but anyway, I make the call. The cutoff calls too, and the turn is another queen. Now the small blind checks. I think I have the best hand now. It's time to bet. I bet $150, charging any weaker queens or draws. Only the cutoff calls, and the river is a 5, completing the backdoor flush draw. However, I can't really be scared of that. I want to continue charging him if he has a weaker queen. I bet $275, but unfortunately he folds and I take this one down. Here comes a fun one. I have pocket kings in the small blind. There are 2 limpers, and the cutoff raises to $40. His name's Capron. We've tangoed a bit before. It's time to dance again. I 3-bet to $160. Folds back to Capron. He makes the call, and we're heads up to a flop of ace, jack, queen, rainbow. Great. You always have to see the ace when you have the kings. Well, this board is very good for my range. I'm going to have a lot of sets, 2 pairs, ace king, so I still put out a little c-bet. I make it $85. Capron calls, the turn is a 9. When Capron just calls my small bet on the flop, I put him on a lot of ace x hands, small suited aces, ace 10, maybe ace king. I also think he can have a lot of pair plus straight draw hands like Jack 10 suited, Queen 10 suited, pocket 10s, maybe King Jack or King Queen. I check to see what he does, and he bets $175. Even though Pocket Kings is beating a good chunk of the hands I just listed, it's also losing to quite a few hands as well. However, I do think most all of his hands will hate a raise. So here we go. I'm turning my pocket kings into a bluff. I raise to $400. I'm representing aces, queens, jacks, which I should easily have in my range. When I'm in a hand, I do my best to completely deaden my face. I just stare at the board, whether I have it or I don't. But right now, on the inside, I am freaking out. I am really hoping to just get the fold here. Well, after a minute that feels like eternity, Capron decides to lay it down, and just like that, I win a big one. It may seem like I'm just getting monster hands, but this was a 7-hour session, so I'm only showing the bigger or more interesting spots, and a lot of times that includes the big hands. I have ace king in the big blind. There are 4 limpers. Let me refer back to that stone tablet. Yep, still applies. No limping here. I raise to $45. Well, the middle position, hijack, and small blind call were 4 ways to a flop of 4, 5, 7, all hearts. I have the nut flush draw with my ace of hearts, so when the small blind checks, I start with a small c-bet of $60. Only the middle position player calls, and we're heads up to a 2 on the turn. I think the middle position player would raise with a lot of flushes, especially low flushes. He might slow play big flushes, but I block the ace high flush, and I don't think many suited broadways will limp preflop. So, time to put pressure on non-flush hands. I bet $200. The middle position does not throw in the towel quite yet. He calls, and the river is the king of diamonds. Not the heart I was looking for, but I do have top pair now. I slow down and check. I don't know how many worse hands are calling me for 3 streets. I'm hoping for him to check back, but he bets $310. I'm not sure what he's making this bet with. I just don't think he has the flush. Okay, I toss in the call, and he shows ace 3 off for a turned straight. I don't know. I'm not sure about that one. Let me know in the comments how you guys would have played it. All right, I rebuy and pick up 9-10 of spades under the gun +1. One of my favorite hands. I open to $20. Frankie from Next Gen is on my left, and he decides to 3-bet to $75. The low jack calls. It folds back to me. I opened from early position, and Frankie 3-bet me from early position, so he should have a very tight range here. However, 9-10 suited has the possibility to hit some monster hands, plus there's extra money in the middle from the low jack. I make the call, and we're 3 ways to a flop of queen, 8, jack, rainbow. Okay, I flop the super mega nuts. I check to Frankie. He bets $50. The low jack folds. It's back to me. This is the situation I was hoping for. There's a good chance Frankie has a set or an overpair. I raise to $200. Unfortunately, Frankie folds. He told me after that he had deuce 7, so bummer he couldn't have a bigger hand there. Next, I pick up ace king off in the cutoff. The under the gun limps, the under the gun +3 raises to $30, and I put in a 3-bet to $90. Surprisingly, the under the gun limper calls. It's the same guy who beat me with ace 3 a couple hands ago. The under the gun +3 calls as well. We're 3 ways to a flop of ace queen 6 with 2 diamonds. Let's go. We flop top pair. I've seen both players call hefty raises pre-flop with an ace. Just 2 hands ago, the under the gun player limp called my $45 raise with ace 3 off. So I'm betting to target an ace or a diamond draw, and I bet $200. Immediately, the under the gun announces all in, and it folds back to me. Okay, so it is $600 more for me to call. My first instinct when he limp calls $90 pre-flop, then makes this move, is that he has ace queen or pocket sixes. I'm in the tank. He shoved so quickly though. Maybe he has a flush draw, a pair and a flush draw, a combo draw. I am back and forth. After a minute, I decide on a call. We agree to run it twice. He flips over ace queen, so that sucks to see. The first board comes 10-4, and the second comes jack deuce, so we get stacked by him once again. Rebuy again, third time's a charm. I pick up pocket sevens in early position, but the action actually starts with the low jack as he went all in blind for $235. It folds to next gen Jello on the button, who goes all in for $265, another short stack. Well, if we're playing 5-5, 235, I in essence have 2 big blinds. All right, Jello and random blind all-in guy.
Brantzen, give me one. Give me one, Brantzen. Is Brantzen on? Yeah.
Jello has ace 10. Our blind fellow has 5-6 off. Hold one time, come on. The flop comes out ace 3-3. All my hopes rest on a 7 now. Turn, 4, river, jack, and I lose another one. Okay, I add on a bit more. Now I'm in the game for a total of $1,700. Things are not going great, but after a bit, I pick up pocket 10s in the cutoff. The under the gun +1 opens to $20. He's been playing a wide range, so I think it's a fine spot to 3-bet. I make it $60. The small blind, big blind, and under the gun +1 make the call. The table is not folding, apparently. We're 4 ways to a flop of 10-4-5. I flop top set, and the big blind leads out for $40. This is the same guy that stacked me twice already, except this time I have the best possible hand. When the action folds to me, I raise to $125, and our big blind nemesis makes the call. The turn is a 6. I'm just glad it's not a spade. When my opponent checks, I have a little less than a pot-sized bet remaining. I ship it all in for $445. He snap calls. The river is a 9. I show my cards. He shows 4-5 of diamonds. So he flopped bottom 2 pair when I flopped top set, and I'm able to find a nice double up. Last hand of the vlog, we're going big or we're going home because we have the best hand in poker, pocket aces under the gun +3. Rosie limps from under the gun, and I raise to $25. The big blind calls, but then Rosie 3-bets to $150. Okay, here's a tip, guys. If someone limps from under the gun, then re-raises, it's almost always a monster hand. So now I'm faced with a decision to 4-bet or just call. I think against most players, a 4-bet seems good with the best hand in poker. However, I know Rosie is capable of folding big hands. Rosie's a smart guy. He should know that I know his move looks really strong. So if I come over the top and 4-bet, I think he'll actually be able to get away from hands like pocket 10s, pocket jacks, ace king, maybe even queens sometimes. I decide to just call and under-rep my hand. If the flop comes out low, I think I'll be able to get it all in against a lot of his overpairs. The big blind calls as well. We're 3 ways to a flop of deuce 4-5 rainbow. And like clockwork, Rosie bets $200. And now, time to see if the plan worked. I raise to $600. The big blind folds, and Rosie goes all in for $880 total. I make the call. We decide to run it twice. First board comes king, deuce. Second board comes 8, queen. I'm thinking we're probably chopping if he has kings or queens, but Rosie says you're good, so I'm assuming he had jacks or tens, and just like that, we win a massive pot to end the night. All right, so that was a crazy home game session. I hope you guys enjoyed it. It is the next day now. I got home at 5:15 a.m. By the time I walked my dogs and ate some food, the sun was already coming up. I'd forgotten to do my intro, so here it is. The game went pretty well. I was in the hole quite a bit, and I was able to claw out. I was in the game for $1,700 total, and cashed out for $24.25 for a profit of $725. Pretty happy about that. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And yeah, with that one, I am Brantzen, and I'll see you in the next one.